Alright, so this week's topic is a suggestion from Taylor, and it is how to open up. So, this is a pretty broad topic. But I know for me, it was really hard for me to open up. I didn't really open up to my friends that much in general until like the last few years, really when like our band started being more open, like we started crying on stage and like talking about more like real vulnerable things. I think that's really what like made me realize how important that is. And it's not necessarily that I was like scared to before, it's just it didn't really like cross my mind. Like I didn't really know what it meant to fully be yourself with someone else who's fully being themselves and to connect with each other. Like I didn't really understand what that was. So it was more that I just wouldn't really say like what I was really thinking or what I was really feeling, especially like if somebody said something that hurt my feelings, I would just try to like ignore it rather than being like, hey, like that was kind of rude or like that was hurtful. Like, did you mean that? Like, did you mean to make me feel bad? Because if I had said that, then they probably would have been like, oh no, sorry, but I never did. So, I mean, that is one way where people stay like closed, is just by not telling people what you really feel and what you really think, even just about things that the other person says, right? So I think there's two parts to it. There's opening up about how you feel in relation to the other person. So like, hey, like you did this and made me feel like this, in like a negative way, like saying they did something negative, or in a positive way, like, oh, when you did this, like it made me feel really good. Those are both ways to open up. And then also just saying things about what you think and what you feel that aren't in relation to the other person, that are just about yourself. Like if they ask you like, how are you? Like instead of just being like, oh, I'm fine, like you always do, just be like, am I really fine? And if you're not, then be like, not that good. They're like, why? And you're like, well, everything's horrible, you know? Like, just say what you really feel and what you really think. I mean, that's really what opening up is. It's just being honest and being real about things that are vulnerable for you. And there's gonna be different things that are vulnerable for different people. Like some people, it's easy for them to talk about certain things, and then other people, it's super hard for them to talk about those specific things that were easy for the other person. So it's like everyone has those things that are hard to talk about, so it's finding the courage to share them anyway because you want to open up and you want to be as real as you can with people and you want to be close with people, because you can't really be close with people if you're not being yourself and if you're not being honest and you're not being real. You can't be close with them because it's like you're putting up a front. You can't be close with a front of someone. You can only be close with a real person, you know? So, oh, another thing is that you want to open up to people, but you also have to be careful about who you open up to, because some people are not safe to open up to. And it's kind of like trial and error because you won't really know until you try. So maybe start out opening up with small things, like, oh, like, I'm really scared to do this thing. Like saying something vulnerable like that, like, I'm nervous about a test that's coming up. Like if you don't usually talk about like any negative feelings that you have, or like, oh, I'm kind of sad about something that happened. So not like your most dramatic feelings, but just something a little bit vulnerable, and just seeing how the other person responds to that. If they're like, okay, I don't care, then it's like, okay, that's not someone you should open up to. But if they're like, oh, like, I'm gonna listen to you right now and like be comforting right now, then you can see like, okay, this is someone that I can open up to. But do not just like spill everything to everyone, because not everyone deserves all of that, you know? Like people need to earn your closeness. And it's not that people need to earn your love. Like, you should really, like, love and respect everyone to varying degrees. But nobody is entitled to like knowing all of your deepest thoughts and feelings. Like they need to earn that. They need to show you that they are a safe place and that they can take those vulnerable things and protect them and care for them, you know? So just being careful about that, because people, I think, tend to be on one side of the spectrum where they either don't open up to anyone or they will open up to everyone, including people that they really shouldn't, because those people are just gonna hurt them if they open up like that, you know? But don't see that and be like, everyone's gonna hurt me if I open up, because that's not true. Which is why you have to start with like small things so you can gauge whether a person is like a safe person or not. But just know that opening up and saying vulnerable things, it's really hard and it's really scary, but it doesn't mean you can't do it, you know? Like, you just have to push through the fear. When you feel yourself like, oh, I kind of want to say something vulnerable right now, oh, but this is really scary, like, what if I start crying? Like, what if they reject it? Like, feel that fear and be like, you know what? I care more about my relationship with myself and my relationship with this person than I care about this fear that I'm feeling. Like, you have to choose to care more about like moving yourself forward and possibly moving a relationship forward than you care about the fear that you have. So just remember that. Thank you, Taylor, for this topic, and I hope all of that made sense.